So are there reasons why you should not look into a reverse mortgage? There definitely are, and I'm going to cover those with you today. Let's get into it. So number one reason why you should not look into a reverse mortgage if you're not of age. Now, what does of age mean? It depends on the program. Certain states, there are certain options where you could actually look into a reverse mortgage as early as 55. All states have options as late as age 62. So if you're not at least 55 or 62, depending on the state, it probably would make sense for you to not look into a reverse mortgage currently. We can give you the information and details on which states and how it all works, but I wanted to share that with you because I don't want to waste your time if you're not at least 55 for certain programs and 62 for the FHA home equity conversion, the FHA version of a reverse mortgage. So that would be the number one reason why you shouldn't at least look into it. The second reason you shouldn't look into a reverse mortgage is you don't have enough equity. And I find from chatting with people, the amount of equity, saying you have a large amount of equity, it's all relative. So some people think it's $100,000, $200,000. Some people think it's a percentage. But in this scenario, it really doesn't make sense for you to look into any of these reverse mortgage options unless you have at least 50% equity, 50% equity. So how would you come up with that number? Well, you could go to, what I usually do is go to 2, 3, 4 different websites. So it's always good to possibly go to Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. Just go to a couple of them and try to see what they say your home might be worth. As we all know, it's not an appraisal, doesn't take into account condition, recent sales, those type of things, but it's a starting point. It takes you from a guess to an educated guess. Does that make sense? That's all we're looking for here. So for example, if your home is worth $1 million and you owe 500,000, that's $500,000 or 50% equity. If your home is worth, let's say 400,000 or more and you owe 200, that's 50% equity. Those are good starting points because then it depends on your age and different factors, how it all goes together. But that's at least a place that makes sense to be educated and learn about the program. May not work for you now, but may work for you in the future. So if you're not old enough and you don't have enough equity, then it may not make sense for you to look into the program for yourself. Those are the biggest reasons. And then the third reason that comes along, the reason why you shouldn't look into a reverse mortgage, if you know 100% for sure you're going to be moving soon. Now, why would that be a concern for the reverse mortgage? Well, this is a mortgage. What does that include? Well, closing costs, title insurances, taxes, insurance, those type of things that they do add up. And we'll talk more about how those all work. But if you're going to move soon, it probably doesn't make sense to go through all that. Now, there are extenuating circumstances. What I hear a lot, though, is people say, you know, it may not make sense, I'm going to move soon. And then they say within 12 months, and I talk to them within 12 months, and what do they say at that point? Well, I'm going to be moving soon, probably within 12 months. And this continues to go on, right? So the way I say it is if you're 100% sure you're going to be moving soon, it may not make sense to look into this on your current home, but we actually, if you watch some of our other videos, do reverse mortgage for purchase. So sometimes it makes sense to look into it, but we don't look into it on your current home. We look at it on the home you're going to be moving to, if that makes sense. Follow that? So my number is if you're going to be moving in a year or less, it normally doesn't make sense. Even if you have a large payment, that's a good number, meaning that let's say that you have a $2,000 a month mortgage payment and you could do a reverse mortgage to pay off that where you don't have to make that payment anymore. Well, at a year, 2,000 times 12, you'd save over $24,000 worth of payments. which would cover closing costs, those type of things. You'd be in that ballpark of a wash. Well, it may make sense, but if you're going to be moving in 6 months, it may not make sense to go through the paperwork and documentation and the appraisal and the closing costs. But we can look at it, and that's our job, is to help you analyze it. But my main point to share with you in this video is, if you're not at least 55, if you don't have at least half equity, or you're going to be moving soon, this would not be the program for you. And the reason why I want to put this video out there is that we want to give you the same advice we give our parents or grandparents. And that is not always get a loan. A lot of times it's, hey, you don't need to do this. This is not right for you. Let me connect you with a friend of mine, or let me look at a different product for you that handles that. Just to give you an example, I spoke with a gentleman this morning. He was looking to get a high percentage of his equity out of his home because he was going to build a property, an extra structure on his land. Well, he was interested in one of these Helton, the home equity conversion, the 62 and older reverse mortgage option, but we could only give him enough to pay off his mortgage, not really give him the extra cash. And I said, hey, I'd love to do a loan for you, but my recommendation is you've already got enough available in your HELOC. Just do that. There's no reason to do another loan. And he appreciated the advice, appreciated me not wasting his time, and appreciated the honesty. So we'll always shoot straight with you. We'll always let you know what's in your best interest from our perspective, give you the pros and cons, and help you make a really, really good, educated and informed decision based on you and your factors. So thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. We have a heart for service, a heart for serving seniors, and just wanted you to know there are reasons why you shouldn't do this. And if that's your case, we'll tell you no, go do something else. Looking forward to talking with you soon. Thanks again. Have an awesome day.